What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I appreciate you for continuing to take this journey with me. So I don't want to take you guys for granted because obviously you are a large part of what it is that I do. I never knew that I would be in this space in which I have so many people continuing to take the journey along with me. And so I don't take you for granted. And I just want to continue to emphasize how much I really care for you and how much I appreciate you. And I invite you to come and join the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. The Patreon is a space where I take you along that journey even more in depth as far as mastermind sessions. We have conversations about money, obviously. I drop uncensored interviews. And I recently did a webinar where I broke down exactly how much I make from a content creation perspective and how you can capitalize off content creation also. Learning from the mistakes and the successes that I have. So if you want to see that webinar, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat, as well as joining a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. Also, Alpha Juice Company, all of the discount codes is in the description. Make sure you tap into the Alpha Juice Company because it is a phenomenal company, and do not order Alpha Juice without first putting in the discount codes that I have in the description. But without further ado, on the Millionaire Morning Show today, I broke down exactly what I've recently purchased because, you know, I like to show the receipts. And people don't like me showing the receipts. But then if I didn't show the receipts, they would sit and say, well, where's the receipts? Because they've asked me for the receipts. And so because I like showing the receipts, and I've recently gotten home from the office in Midtown Detroit, and I have a lot going on this weekend. I got some flights to catch. I got some interviews to go shoot. I got a live show that I got to do on Friday. So much to do. February is going to be a very busy month. Amongst that, one of my objectives is to accumulate a little bit of cash and not pull anything outside of my portfolio in order to pay off my final property. Now, why is this such a milestone for me? And why is it something that I wanted to mention and have a conversation with you guys about? Because I don't think people truly understand what wealth is. I don't think that people really get how it is that you accumulate wealth, what that really means, what generational wealth really means, and the power of real ownership. And when I say real ownership, I'm not talking about perceived ownership. Perceived ownership is that you think you own your house, but you're just paying 30 years in order to own your house. That's not ownership. The mortgage company owns the house. You pay them interest on the loan that they're giving you until you eventually pay it off, and then you die, and then you pass it on to your kids, and then your kids go ahead and sell your property. That's not real wealth. That's not ownership. That's perceived ownership, right? Because you don't really calculate the true cost of it. And I'm not going to go into it here because this is not the Millionaire Morning Show channel, and this is not the channel that I really deep dive into money. I paid off my final property, and it is officially the 18th property that I own free and clear. I showed the receipts this morning, and so you want to go and check the Millionaire Morning Show. The final payment was $101,768 and some change, like 78 cents or something like that. And I had already made a previous payment of about $62,000. So the payoff quote was an additional $101,000. And so I had to accumulate the cash in order to be able to do so. And it's two lessons and then one objective that I want to take away from this. A, cash means nothing. And I've been talking to y'all about this for an extended period of time. Cash means absolutely nothing. When you see these rappers running around with the money phone, real rich people don't care nothing about that. When you see people flaunting a bunch of cash, real rich people don't care nothing about that. It's all about assets. And assets is anything that you can then liquidate and get cash for, and or you also want to get appreciating assets, not depreciating assets. What's a depreciating asset? A new car that you buy then that's worth less than what it is that you paid for it when you go to sell it. What's an appreciating asset? One of the Rolexes that I purchased that's worth more than what I paid for it, and I get to enjoy it on a daily basis. Another appreciating asset is something where I have a large stock of my portfolio in is real estate. And I think that that's the way in which I'm going to continue to leverage in order to continue to build wealth and increase my net worth and deploy my cash, because it's an incentive for the federal government, from the federal government, in order to ensure that I continue to invest in real estate. But the real power is the fact that I don't have to give the equivalent of $6,000, $10,000, $12,000 a year over to the mortgage company in order for them to service the loans. We got to do things differently as Black people. I don't really want to go into the money aspect of it too much because that's my whole thing. That's my nature. That's my character. But we got to do things differently as a community because less than, I believe, 1% of the population owns 90% of the real estate. Less than 1% of the population, and that's why they call them the one percenters. I don't even look at myself as a one percenter, even though I am a one percenter as far as my net worth, as far as how much money that I make on a yearly basis, how much I know about money and resources, and that's why I invite you guys in order to join the Patreon. But I'm free. I'm literally free. My daughter is taken care of for the rest of her life. She'll never have to get a student loan. My wife is straight if anything was to ever happen to me. I still make an egregious amount of money in corporate America. And life is absolutely awesome. And so my next goal, which is the real point of this video, is I'm going to celebrate by going to Disney World for my daughter and my wife's birthday because that's what they wanted to do. And so that's going to probably cost me somewhere around 10 grand simply because we all fly first class. And, you know, I got to get the Airbnb. And then my daughter want to bring a friend with her. So obviously that's going to happen. And then we're going to have a great time at Disney World. So we're going to blow 10 bands at Disney World, which is nothing to me because I own all of my property and I can actually justify the purchase considering that I can celebrate now. I'm going to buy another Rolex. So I have a Sky Dweller coming in, brand new from my authorized dealer. It'll probably be my 10th Rolex. It's the rose gold Sky Dweller with the chocolate face. I know people don't like to, hear you talk about it, but you don't mind when the rappers do it. So you shouldn't mind when a person that comes from the bottom of Detroit that's actually doing it the right way and didn't get a PPP loan do it. But my next real objective and the thing that I really want y'all to take the journey with me on is, so make sure you tap into the Patreon because I've already bought the land. And I actually took my Patreon members through the process of me buying the land. Is now I want to take on a new adventure. And so every single piece of property that my LLCs and my trust companies own is single family homes, right? I have not done any apartment buildings. I have not done any house hacking. I have not done any multifamily units, right? I know people love multifamily units. My lane, and I really just like single family homes. It's a phenomenal investment for me personally. And I do my real estate strategy and I break down how it is to do things inside of the Patreon. But here's the other side of it, right? My next goal and my next adventure, because it's not enough for me to just retire or just continue to make money and have a good time or just go into the sunset. I did that in 2017. There are videos on this channel on the internet where I retired in 2017. I got out of the restaurant business, started going back to the Pistons games. And then social media, internet, content creation, I decided to go full throttle into that. Once the pandemic hit, I moved down to Florida for about 3-4 months, and then there was that, right? My next goal is to build a property. So I want to become a builder now. I don't just want to buy real estate. I don't just want to deploy my capital and get rid of all of the cash and continue to be cash poor and asset rich and all of that stuff. I actually want to challenge myself because I've built restaurants. I've built different businesses. I've done a lot of different things in my life. And so I want to see where the next thing takes me. And so instead of just holding on to the land, I'm actually going to go through clearing the land. So there's some trees on there and we're going to go through that. I have an architect that I've always worked with. And anybody that's seen some of my offices know that I have some of my first blueprints in there and they done those blueprints and they're absolutely awesome. And we're going to start building properties according to my specifications. And I'm going to learn a lot. I'm probably going to go through a lot. I'm going to fail a lot. There's a lot of things that I don't know as a result of it because I've never built a property before. I have a pretty decent relationship with the city and the townships in which I own land in, so that should make things a little bit easier. But more importantly, I'm just inviting you to continue to take this journey with me because we need to celebrate together. And the best way to celebrate, I believe, is to learn while we go. And so as I build this plane, as I fly it, I'm inviting you to make sure that you subscribe to the channel, continue to turn on your notifications, and rock out with me, right? Don't be a hater. Don't be a hater. I love you too. And it's the reason why I continue to have these conversations with you so I can add value into your life too. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. And we got so many other things planned, including meetups. And I fly to y'all city every month and all of that as far as the Patreon members and everything like that. So I appreciate you again. I love you. And I also invite you to continue to take this journey with me. It's been a phenomenal ride, but we're just getting started. I'm gonna holler at you later.